Hey, Sean here, gift from Lyft. I was just out, the New York skyline is over there, 15 miles away, and I'm up here on my perch up here in Eagle Rock. And I just wanted to make this video about the number one question that I get asked by riders, especially young riders, who I've had the privilege of getting to know in a brief ride share. Hey, this is Sean, gift from Lyft. I created this channel to help with my burnout and isolation, and have over now 4,000 gig rides between Uber and Lyft. And in this video, I'll share with you the number one question that I like talking and getting asked and answering. And it's profound. And it's also mostly younger drivers who have the most at stake in this, although older riders as well. We all do still. But it's the number one question I get asked. And I have a very strong opinion about this, coming from a very emotional and logical place in this topic. So if you'll stick with me in this video, I'll share with you what that is and what my thought on it is. So hang in there and hold that thought. I want to give a shout out to a rider, Lucas, that asked me this question and facilitated what the number one topic is. And it's really about, what should I do, especially from a younger rider, someone who's under 35, 30, especially, college age, just getting out of high school, starting their life and career. The number one question that I get asked, where it comes up is, passion versus practicality. My heart is telling me one thing, my head maybe another, my family has a plan they want me to pursue based on my educations thus far, and yet there's this disconnect. Or the real question is, what if that comes in conflict with what I really want to do? Or what is it, if I follow my passion, follow my heart, follow my dream, what if that doesn't work out? So they couldn't have found a better person, in my opinion, to have that Q&A or that back and forth with than someone like myself. Here I am, 62 years old, and my life is really still being lived with the consequences of my having gone for my passion, what I thought it was, back in my early 20s. And what that is I'll tell you in a second. But the point being is that jumping off point, I think it's better to frame it and how I frame it, and it really depends on where you're at and what this means to you in terms of how you approach it. And I'll just seed it with, for me, it was a very emotional decision what I decided to do. And what that was is I quit my job on Wall Street after a few basic year of taking some acting classes and a couple of small bits and pieces in TV and a couple of commercials. Decided that I was going to drive my car at the time across the country to Los Angeles from northern New Jersey, outside of New York where I lived, and go for it. That was my what I decided to do at the time in my life. So there's some thought around that, and there's some repercussions, and I want to go back and frame that in a couple of ways. So hold that thought. So the thing in looking back on all of that, people will ask me, well, it didn't work out. I'll cut to the chase. I didn't make a living. What I wanted the most to be able to do was to make a living at what I thought my passion was, which was acting. And at the time, that really wasn't my passion, but you couldn't tell me that at the time. That was my truth at the time in my head and what I thought. And I say that with some hindsight, all these years looking back, is that what it really was is my ego was telling me what it wanted to do, and my heart was conflicted. And but I completely lived by my ego and didn't care. And I also had kind of a mantra that, I knew that you only get this chance once, being young, and I wanted to roll the dice in that area. And so it's bifurcated in the sense that I really want younger riders to really get a handle on, hey, why are you doing this? Is it something that you really feel truly passionate about, or is it really your ego, if you can get honest about that? And that's a hard thing to someone in their 20s, especially when you have family baggage and you're dealing with other issues in your life that you might not know. I mean, at the time too, in full disclosure, I was dealing with a drinking problem that was just beginning. So I wasn't really in the best of mental health to be pursuing things. But, you know, in a lot of ways, looking back, I had great opportunities that I set myself up for. The drinking then wasn't what prohibited me from seizing them. It was really just that I was only so talented, and I didn't get the big break, or I wasn't able to actualize on the breaks that I had. And that's just part of rolling the dice. And so where it really gets tricky is, and I tell the young riders, is that be prepared for a plan B. That if you do decide to go for it, and I think you should, because you only get this one time to do it when you're young, and you don't have responsibilities yet, for the most part. Some people do, but you're not taking care of your aging parents yet. You're out on your own. You don't have children yet, perhaps. You don't have a lot of responsibility. And so that's really the challenge. And I think, you know, what is the plan B? And it's okay to have a plan B. And a lot of riders don't like hearing that. Well, if I have to go back and do what I don't like, no, you'll do something else. It's not a fixed black and white thing. It'll lead you in directions. And I think that's what I want to share, is that there were so many different outcomes I could have taken that would have served me quite well. I think I would have been a really good producer, and been able to perhaps invest in certain types of entertainment that, you know, with my business skills that I accumulated later on, would have served me well. But, you know, that was something that I couldn't actualize. I couldn't figure out, because I was so conflicted. And when it started to fall apart, the dream for me, I was so emotionally invested in it. I couldn't, it was unhealthy. It was just soul crushing. And I don't think that, I think if you're a healthier person and you have that perspective, you'll be able to go do something else, make a living as best you can, and do what you need to do if you can, and nurture that passion on the side and develop it in other ways. I couldn't do that. I didn't have the emotional intelligence, and my disease of alcoholism and other things that I had to wrestle with were really just pulling the plug out from under me as I got into my late 20s and early 30s. So that's what I had to deal with. For everybody else, they're going to have other things that they're going to have to deal with, you know, family pressure, their own egos, their own fears. But I guess I want to leave it off with, you know, if you made it this far, the number one question that, besides the question, the follow-up is, well, how do you feel about it now? Do you regret it? And the answer is absolutely not. I say it was the best thing that I ever did. It's taught me so much. And the number one thing is, I don't have regrets about, did I follow my passion? Yeah, it was a mixed message for me personally. I mean, I look back and say, yeah, I would have done it differently, sure. But that's how life works. You get one chance with, you know, who you are at the time. And I am really happy that I took that chance, that I rolled the dice and went for it at that age. And I don't have any regrets about, hey, if you, and that's why I kind of don't like the question, you know, what would you do if you didn't have any financial responsibilities, or live in a reality where you don't have to take care of other people or be a part of something? That for most of us isn't a reality. So I think it should be framed a little bit differently, that, you know, if, you know, what is it you like to do? If you're lucky enough to make a living at that, for most of us, that's just not going to be an option. You know, today, anyway, that's another video, but yeah, take the risk. You'll learn from it and you'll survive it, especially if you're young and without a lot of responsibility. And it will actually guide you, I believe, into the areas that, you know, your true passion may come out of that. And for me, it's still being determined, you know, at my still young age at 62, of what that may be. But right now, I'm at a really good place in my life, having looked back at saying, yeah, I had a lot to learn, and I had a lot of things to go through and figure out, but they weren't what I thought they were. And that's the life lesson that if I can impart There's a lot of things going on at the time when you're young that you just don't know you're going to figure out and solve. So, hey, Sean here, gift from Lyft. If you like this video, give me a note, maybe subscribe. I don't have very many subscribers. I'd like to keep making these videos, but no one seems to be watching them, but that's okay. I enjoy making them. So anyway, that's my sign off.